Hello everyone, welcome to the Raquel and Nathan YouTube channel. You join me straight outside in the garage. As I have been fiddling this weekend, I started before I was filming, I'm sorry. My job is to Raptor these side steps. Now these are off the car, so they were a step down the bottom. Now I actually much prefer the look of it without them on, but even though I don't really go off-roading, and even if I did get the middle grounded on something, these wouldn't do much. I still just want them on the car because it gives that little bit of protection, and then I can see the chassis from the side now, and I don't like that. So in the future, I'm sure I'll be getting some sort of rock sliders or rock bars or whatever you call them to put on the side of the car, but for now, during this COVID situation, I can't get hold of anything. So we're going to be Raptor lining these. So I'm going to be doing these black because I want them to be as discreet as possible. And this is Raptor. So this is a bed liner, so it's designed to actually go in the back, like for the loading bay here, as you can see, this sort of thing. But also a lot of people paint it on their cars because it's ridiculously strong in comparison to regular paint. I do know that there's better products out there like Line-X, but this one is a really simple application. Even I can do it. So you can buy it in a rattle can so you can spray it on. But in my case, I'm going to be using a compressor and the air gun. As you can see, I've used it before a couple of times. And what this does, it just uses the compressed air to spray. This is a specific Raptor gun because it's a lot thicker than regular paint. So what you have to do is basically chuck hardener in, which goes to this line here. And once you've done that, shake it up, put the top on your bottle and spray away. Okay, so I'm going to open the door, get some heat onto these, and then I'm going to set the gun up and we shall spray it outside. Okay, so I've got them hung up. They're hanging by some metal wire just on each end here, so they're easy access. So once I've painted those, I'll lay these strips on the top and then I can paint them as well. I need to wait about 15 minutes between each coat. I'm going to do 2 coats, make sure they're really strong. But now I'm just going to dust them over with brake cleaner, make sure every bit of grit and grime is off them, and then I can crack on. Okay, so I've got the Raptor, I've got the pot, measuring pot, here is the hardener. Okay, so now just before I do this, I'm going to go and put some gloves on and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm just going to put the hardener in. Lid back on. And then shake for about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so you get about 45 minutes to an hour before this goes hard. So I'm going to get my mask on, set up the compressor and get going. The Raptor varies between pressures, so if you put higher pressure on the compressor you get a finer grade, and you can also adjust the sort of splatter level on here as well. So I'm going to keep it as it was because it's quite a nice finish, but I'm going to run at 60 psi just so you know. Perfect. As you can see, the finish of these is so cool. Like, it looks so good. Just in case you're wondering why they're still silver underneath, it's because I'm leaving the underside as they were fine and you can't see them anyway. So there's no point me wasting Raptor on those bits because end caps go on and you can't see underneath. So it's been about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to crack on with another coat and then we'll let them dry in the sun and we'll see what they look like back on the car later. See me in a sec. Okay, so they're 100% dry. Now, if you can see, they look, in my personal opinion, fantastic. But down here I have the bolts. Now these are all the ones I heat treated, so they are black and they now match. But there's a couple I had to angle grind off when I took these apart because they'd rusted on solid. So I'll have to find replacements of these when I come to it. I'll see which ones I need and then I'll have to go and scavenge around my screw box and try and find them. But for the time being, I'm going to put these back on and we'll see how they look. Alright, so it is the next day, I promise. I'm just wearing the same clothes. As you can see, my hair is still wet from the shower, but these are fully dry now, and I've been very lucky actually. I had 2 really nice days, about 20-25 degrees up here, so it's been perfect for the paint to cure. So it sat overnight and it seems to be perfect. Now, these are the 2 rubber strips that sit along here on the edge, so when you step in, you don't step straight onto the paint. And they're sort of like grooved, so you can see that they like slot in. They got like a little pattern and they slide in, but getting them to actually slide in could be a little bit more difficult than I'd first anticipated. Okay, so I think I'm going to try and use a bit of lubrication. I got this like rust off stuff, it's a bit like WD-40. Just going to use a bit of that and keep my fingers crossed that it will assist in the sliding. Ow! You got to keep pressure on the slider to stop it moving, whilst also putting in more pressure than I've got to make it slide on the other bit. Oh my, okay. I don't know how long that took, but it felt a lot shorter. But my hands hurt, like, a lot. So, let's move on. Okay, so down here we have the plastic end caps. Now, these just smarten up the look of them quite a bit. But you can see I've left them overnight in this product called Rustoff. Now, it's by Worth, Rustoff, and it's what I use to get the sliders on. It's a bit like WD-40, but it seems to do a much better job. It's designed to assist with rust corrosion, like to help it, but I've found that it's actually also really good at making plastics black again, because these were like faded due to the sun. I mean, out here in Portugal, it's like 40 degrees like for a few months of the year, so they get really faded. Plastic trim, dashboards crack and all that stuff. But look at that, and they look brand new. So what they do is they just go on the end. So these bolts, they have like a square on the actual thread, so that locks in, and then you can tighten it on without having to go onto the other side. It will just stay still. It slots into the squares that are in the plastics, so you don't have to go crazy tight on these. But I'm just going to get the screwdriver, straighten up the hole, and then put them in. And there you have it, everyone. They're fully rebuilt. Last job, get them on the car and give them one little wipe down, and we are done. Okay, so now it's time to put these bad boys back on. It should be fairly simple. It's just 6 bolts per side. So I'll lay underneath and get this on. Okay, so here they are, they're back on the car, and they've actually come out amazing. Considering what they looked like before, I really didn't like the look of them, and I thought they were really ugly, so I thought putting them black for the time being whilst I wait for some proper rock sliders to come in was a good idea. And I think that they look much better, and they're going to be a little bit more robust. Oh, here's the cat, hello mate. And well, for the time being, like I say, they should tide me over until I get a pair of rock sliders. These mount to the actual side of the body, they don't mount to the chassis, so if I did hit something, they're not going to do masses of protection, but they should be better than nothing. But other than that, I think they look really good, and hopefully learn a little bit about raptoring. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys next week for something to do with the hardtop, I'm sure. And we will see you in the next video, won't we?